Some of the things we struggle with today didn't start today. They started a long time ago. In the homes we grew up in the things we saw, and the things no one ever explained.
A lot of people are hurting in friendships, in relationships, and most times it goes deeper than what we can see. Because when a child grows up feeling unseen, unloved, or even unwanted, it doesn't just go away, it follows them into the way they think, the way they love, the way they respond to people. This is where Rose's story begins. As much as many people ignore the topic of trauma, as ridiculous as it might be in the ears of some people, trauma is something that can hinder you from being your best self. You were born for something bigger. Yes, you were born for a higher purpose, a higher calling than what you're settling for. Trauma might be a little thing or a common word that has been heard all over the internet, our lives, but it is something that can hinder you from being your best self. So now almost everybody or everyone has literally experienced trauma during their childhood. I mean, there's this trend now of people wanting to do to their kids what was done to them, to make them feel that same pain. However, it's a trend, but in reality, some people are actually transferring these patterns of pain to their children and their children and their children, and it limits them from seeing themselves in a better light or even imagine big things. Are you someone that has been traumatized in terms of friendship, relationship, family, education, school, anything, and then you've told yourself that you're not better, or you can't get anything out of anything you do, or you are meant to be in a low. This is not, I'm not here to encourage you, I'm just here to tell you the facts. So I'm an author and I wrote a book, Petition, the retelling of the story of Esther, and it was some few things were adapted into the story, in the sense that in my book, Esther wasn't so much of a queen when she was little. In fact, in my book, it was something to adapt, some story to adapt into it, in the sense that Esther was from a fractured home. And Esther grew into adulthood with that pain and trauma, and that is most of us go through. Probably from our homes, childhood, we saw stuff, and it makes like a good fear in us that we might not want to take this decision, or we might not want to go into anything, or just be in our own zone and not associate to anybody. But that's not going to be possible. You're just going to limit yourself from many blessings. And I'm here to talk about this petition book, and I'll advise you to get it. Beyond this book, anywhere I go, I will literally observe some people who speak from pain and trauma, and are held back from many blessings that they can get, many things that they can do for themselves that will make them great. But then they refuse, and the strongholds that they have in their mind limit them. So I'm here to, I want you to get this book, Petition, and let's make the same. Even after everything that's been said, there's still more to this story. This isn't just a story about trauma. It's a story about healing, about finding love again, about discovering purpose, and ultimately redemption. Because no matter how far we feel we've gone, or how deep we think we are never there alone. There is always someone with us, even in the moments we don't understand, and that someone is Jesus. He sees beyond what we can explain. He understands what we don't even have words for. Even when Rose held on to anger, even when she didn't understand God, it didn't last forever. Because the moment she truly encountered Him, the anger began to lose its weight. God began to show her not just who He is, but how deeply she is loved by Him. And one of the ways that love showed up was in the place she least expected. She found a new home with people who didn't have a child but saw her as the one they had been waiting for. And in that moment, you begin to realize maybe everything isn't random after all. Maybe even when we don't understand it, everything is working together. So wherever you find yourself right now, don't stay there. Step outside, breathe, allow yourself to feel something different. Because healing is not holding on, it is letting go. It is forgiving not just others, but yourself. Because when you hold on to pain, you're not protecting yourself. You're only keeping yourself in a place you were never meant to stay. And the truth is, people will hurt you. Sometimes intentionally, sometimes not. But your story doesn't have to end there. Nothing you've been through is a waste. Every moment, every pain is shaping you, strengthening you, drawing you closer to who you are meant to become. And just like Rose, you can find your way back to love, back to purpose, back to peace. You just have to let Him in. Dear viewer, this is not my story.